You know those moments when the world feels just a little too heavy, like the air itself is pressing down on your chest. That's how the days leading up to my 29th birthday felt. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed in that cramped upstairs room of my parents' house, the one I'd painted pale blue in high school, hoping it'd make me feel less like a kid and more like someone with a future. The fan whirred overhead, stirring the stale summer air, and I scrolled through Instagram, my thumb ghosting over endless feeds of glittery cakes, surprise parties, friends draped in fairy lights and laughter. Everyone looked so celebrated, so seen. My name's Sophia, by the way, 28 going on forgotten, or so it seemed. I'd been living at home for 2 years now, ever since my graphic design gig went freelance and the rent in the city skyrocketed. It was supposed to be temporary, a way to save up, help out with Dad's medical bills after his heart scare last winter. Mom needed the extra hands around the house, and my little brother Jake was crashing on the couch between community college semesters, his laundry piling up like a monument to his chaos. We were a team, right? The Harrisons, holding it together with duct tape and denial. But on nights like this, staring at my reflection in the cracked vanity mirror, curly brown hair frizzing out like a halo gone wrong, eyes shadowed from too many late shifts, I wondered if I was the only one noticing how invisible I'd become. Why does wanting a birthday feel like asking for the moon? The thought looped in my head, a quiet whisper that built into a low hum of tension. I'd always been the easy one. The girl who planned Mom's 50th with homemade banners and catered sandwiches, even though she insisted it was too much fuss. The one who covered Jake's shifts at the diner when he flaked for band practice, smiling through the grease stains and sore feet. Dad's quiet nods of approval were my currency. That's my Soph, always stepping up. But stepping up meant stepping over myself every time. And now, with 29 creeping up like a shadow, I craved something simple. Not a bash, not a blowout, just acknowledgement. A dinner where we turned off the TV. Balloons that said, "You matter." Cake that wasn't the discount one from the grocery store, eaten half-heartedly over reruns. I took a deep breath, the kind that rattles in your ribs, and padded downstairs in my socks, the wooden steps creaking underfoot like they were judging me. The kitchen smelled of simmering spaghetti sauce, Mom's go-to comfort food, the one dish that could make even our blowout fights feel forgivable. She was at the stove, her graying hair pulled into a practical ponytail, stirring with the focus of someone who'd long ago traded dreams for duty. Dad sat at the table, balding crown catching the fluorescent light, buried in the sports section. Jake sprawled on the counter stool, earbuds in, demolishing a bag of chips like it was his job. "Hey guys," I said, leaning against the doorframe, trying to sound light. My voice came out smaller than I wanted, threaded with that micro-hesitation, the fear of being too much. "Don't push, Soph. They'll think you're needy." But I pushed anyway because the ache was swelling. "So tomorrow's the big day," I was thinking. Maybe we could do something fun, like go out to that Italian place downtown, or even just invite a couple friends over, light some candles. Mom didn't even turn fully, just glanced over her shoulder, wooden spoon mid-swirl. "Tomorrow. Oh, honey, your birthday. We'll do the usual cake after dinner like always." Her tone was affectionate but clipped, like she was checking off a chore. The sauce bubbled louder than her words. Dad folded his paper with a rustle, peering at me over his reading glasses. "Sounds nice, kiddo, but out? That's a drive, and I've got that early shift at the warehouse. Gas ain't cheap." Jake yanked out an earbud, crumbs tumbling from his lips. "Dude, Soph, it's not like you're turning 21. Who throws parties for 29? That's like Aunt Age." He grinned, expecting a laugh, but it landed flat, his eyes flicking back to his phone like my words were a commercial break. The tension coiled in my gut, a slow twist like a knife turning just enough to nick the skin. They're not getting it. Or maybe they are, and that's worse. I forced a smile, the kind that pulls at your cheeks like rubber bands. "It's not about throwing a party, Jake. It's just one night, where it's about me. Balloons, maybe, music. I don't know, something that feels special." Mom set down the spoon, wiping her hands on her apron, her face softening into that pitying look she saved for when I got sentimental. "Sophia, sweetheart, we love you, but life's busy. Your father's working doubles, Jake's got finals looming, and I've got the book club potluck to prep for. Cake's special enough. You're not a kid anymore." not a kid, but still invisible. The words echoed in my head, unspoken as heat pricked behind my eyes. I blinked it back, nodding like it was fine. Yeah, sure, cake sounds great. But as I turned to grab a glass of water, my hand shook against the faucet, the cool stream doing nothing to douse the burn. That night I lay in bed, the house settling around me like a sigh, the creak of pipes, the distant hum of the fridge downstairs. My phone glowed in the dark, a silent companion. I texted Mia, my best friend since 3rd grade, the one who'd seen me through every heartbreak and half-baked dream. B-Day tomorrow. Tried hyping fam up for plans. Crickets. Feels stupid for even asking. Her reply buzzed back almost instantly. WTF, Soph? You're allowed to want shit. Screw the usual. Let's hijack it, girls' night my treat. I smiled into the pillow, a flicker of warmth cutting through the chill. Maybe, but what if they think I'm dramatic? Then own it, she shot back. Dramatic is better than dead inside. She was right in that fiery way she always was. But owning it, that felt like stepping off a ledge. Inner thoughts swirled like storm clouds. What if I push and they pull away harder? What if one stupid birthday wish makes me the family villain? The micro tension kept me awake, my heart a dull throb against the sheets. Tomorrow wasn't just a date on the calendar anymore. It was a test, when I wasn't sure I wanted to pass or fail. By morning, the sun slanted through my curtains in lazy stripes, mocking the knot in my stomach. I woke to the smell of bacon frying, Mom's half-hearted peace offering, and dragged myself downstairs, pasting on normalcy like makeup. Morning, I mumbled, sliding into a chair. Dad was already gone, his coffee mug abandoned like a flag of surrender. Jake shoveled eggs, barely grunting a happy B-Day. Mom slid a plate my way, her smile tight. 29, can't believe it. Eat up, we'll do cake tonight. Thanks, I said, poking at the food. The words stuck in my throat, heavy as lead. Say it again, Soph, one more try. Mom, about tonight. What if we made it a little more, invited Mia, or even just decorated? She paused, fork midway to her mouth, and let out a soft laugh, not cruel but dismissive, like I was suggesting a trip to Paris. Decorated? Sophia, that's sweet, but we're not those families with the Pinterest boards. Cake's plenty. Don't make a fuss. Fuss? The word landed like a pebble in still water, rippling out. Jake snorted into his juice. Yeah, sis, overdramatic much. Save the drama for your TikToks. There it was, overdramatic. The label they'd slap on anything that smelled of my needs, my tears after a bad date, my quiet pleas for a weekend off from family obligations. It wasn't a word. It was a cage, locking me back into the role of the steady one, the one who didn't rock the boat. My fork clattered against the plate, louder than intended. It's not drama, Jake. It's my birthday. One day out of 365 where I don't have to be the fixer. Mom's eyes softened, but her voice stayed firm. Honey, we get it, but wanting more doesn't change facts. Life's not a movie. She reached across the table, patting my hand, the ultimate silencer. I pulled away gently, the touch burning. Maybe it should be for one night. But the words dissolved into silence, the moment slipping away like smoke. I finished my eggs in bites that tasted like ash, the tension now a full simmer in my veins. They're right. I'm asking too much. Or was I? The doubt gnawed, slow and insistent, as I grabbed my bag for work. The door clicked shut behind me, sealing in the unspoken storm. Work was a blur of pixels and deadlines, tweaking logos for a client who couldn't decide between teal and turquoise, the office hum a white noise to my churning thoughts. Amy, my cubicle neighbor with her neon hair and zero-filter mouth, clocked my vibe immediately. Earth to Soph, you look like someone kicked your puppy. Spill. I leaned over the partition, voice low. Birthday blues. Fam thinks I'm nuts for wanting a real celebration. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd stick. Nuts. Girl, that's baseline. My fam threw me a surprise last year, karaoke and tacos. Yours, let me guess, microwave cake. Worse, store-bought post-dinner TV ritual. Amy whistled low. That's criminal. You deserve confetti, babe. Hell, I'll bring it to the office tomorrow. Her words were a lifeline, but they tugged at the raw spot. They called it overdramatic, like joy's a luxury. She paused, her bubbly facade cracking into something real. Soph, wanting to be seen ain't dramatic. It's human. Don't let him dim your light. I nodded, but the seed of resentment took root deeper, twisting with every email ping and coffee break. By lunch, I was texting Mir again. They said it. Overdramatic. Feel like a kid throwing a tantrum. Tantrum? Nah, awakening, she replied. Plan B, you plus me plus wine plus 0 fucks given. The idea sparked a tiny rebellion. But as the afternoon dragged, the micro-tension built. What if I did it anyway? What if one night of my own making proved them right? Evening fell like a curtain, the house aglow with the TV's blue flicker when I got home. Mom had the cake out, chocolate, slightly squished from the fridge, 4 mismatched candles flickering weakly. Dad was home early for once, tie loosened, a tired smile on his face. Jake lounged with his feet up, phone in hand. Blow him out, birthday queen, he teased, snapping a blurry photo. We sang, off-key and rushed, the words tumbling out like an obligation. Happy birthday to Yao! I closed my eyes, making a wish, not for world peace, but for this to feel enough. The flames guttered out in one puff, smoke curling like a question mark. Make a wish, Dad asked, slicing uneven pieces. Yeah, I said, forcing the lie. Something good. Mom handed me a plate, her eyes searching mine. See, special enough. It wasn't. The cake stuck to the roof of my mouth, sweet but hollow, as we settled into the living room. The sitcom droned on canned laughter, mocking the quiet in my chest. Inner thoughts raced. This is it. 29 years, and this is the fanfare. The tension peaked in the silence between jokes, my fork scraping the plate like a countdown. I excused myself early, claiming a headache. Upstairs, door shut, I curled under the covers, phone clutched like a talisman. Mia's text waited. How'd it go? Like always, I typed, tears blurring the screen. Overdramatic me strikes again. Bullshit, she fired back. Tomorrow we fix this, your way. For the first time that day, a real smile cracked through. Maybe overdramatic wasn't a curse. Maybe it was a call to arms. The morning after my birthday dawned gray and drizzly, the kind of weather that mirrors the sludge in your soul. I woke with a headache that wasn't faked, the emotional hangover from last night's half-hearted ritual clinging like damp clothes. Downstairs, the kitchen was spotless, evidence of the celebration erased like it never happened. Mom was at the sink, scrubbing pans with that rhythmic vigor she used to outrun her own regrets. Dad's chair sat empty, his shift starting at dawn. Jake's sneakers by the door were the only sign he'd been there, probably crashed at a friend's after studying. I poured coffee, black and bitter, and leaned against the counter, watching Mom's back. The words bubbled up before I could swallow them. Last night was nice, thanks. It was a white lie, but the truth felt too sharp for 7 a.m. She turned, drying her hands, a flicker of guilt in her eyes, or was it annoyance? Glad you liked it, honey. I know it's not fancy, but it's us. Her voice dipped into that maternal warmth, the one that always pulled me back from the edge. Don't ruin it, Soph, she's trying. Yeah, I said, stirring sugar I didn't need. But the crack was there, widening with every stir. It was just quiet. I guess I hoped for a little more noise, like friends, laughter that wasn't from the TV. Mom's lips pressed thin, the sponge twisting in her grip. Sophia, we talked about this. Life's not about noise. It's about showing up day in, day out. Your father's exhausted, Jake's stressed. And me. The interruption slipped out, sharper than intended, the micro-tension snapping like a taut string. What about showing up for me? She blinked, caught off guard, then sighed, the long, world-weary kind that mothers weaponize without meaning to. We did, sweetheart. Cake, candles, that's showing up. That's surviving, my inner voice countered, but aloud I just nodded, the fight draining out like air from a punctured tire. Right, sorry, I'm just tired. Work'll do that, she said, patting my arm before turning back to the dishes. Dismissed, again. I escaped to the office early, the drive a blur of rain-streaked windows and radio static. Amy was waiting with a venti iced latte, her desk festooned with leftover birthday streamers from who knows where. Belated confetti attack, she declared, tossing a handful that stuck to my sweater like guilty confetti. I laughed, genuine this time, and sank into my chair. You're a lifesaver. Yesterday was meh. Tell me everything. Did they at least get you something good? Jewelry? Spa day? Worse, a hug and a we love you. I air quoted, the sarcasm masking the sting. Called me overdramatic when I pushed for plans. Amy's face twisted in solidarity outrage. Overdramatic for existing? Nah, that's gaslighting 101. My sister's the same, turns every holiday into a chore list. Last Christmas, she forgot my gift because priorities. I started my own tradition. Solo beach trip, pina coladas at noon. The image hit me, a woman unapologetically toasting herself under palm trees. Solo, huh? Sounds freeing. It is, until the guilt creeps in. She winked, but her eyes held a shadow. Then you drown it in round 2. We dove into work, but her words lingered, a slow build toward something reckless. By lunch, I was in the break room, phone in hand, staring at Mia's group chat invite. Operation Overdramatic, belated bash. This Saturday. My place. BYOB and zero family drama. The cursor blinked, tempting. What if I say yes? What if this cracks everything open? Inner thoughts warred, loyalty to the family I'd propped up for years versus the girl in the mirror who deserved a spotlight. I hit send, in 100%. The reply flood was instant, emojis exploding like fireworks, Amy's hell yes. A cousin chiming in from across state lines. For the first time in weeks, excitement fizzed in my chest, real and fizzy like stolen champagne. But home that evening brought the backlash, subtle as a gathering storm. Jake was in the living room, feet on the coffee table, controller in hand for some endless shooter game. Saw your texts blowing up. Party? For real. I dropped my bag, aiming for casual. Belated birthday thing, with friends, nothing big. He paused the game, smirking. After Mom bent over backward for cake, kinda shady, Soph, Dad's gonna think you're ungrateful. Ungrateful. The word landed like a gut punch, twisting the knife of doubt. It wasn't bending over backward, Jake. It was 5 minutes between Jeopardy and bed. He shrugged, unpausing the game, gunfire crackling through the speakers. Whatever, just saying you're stirring shit for no reason. Mom walked in then, arms full of grocery bags, catching the tail end. Stirring what? Sophia, what's this about a party? I froze, the micro-tension electric in the air. Just friends to make up for yesterday, Mia's hosting. Her face fell, bags rustling as she set them down. After we celebrated, honey, that hurts, makes us look like we didn't try. You didn't, screamed the voice in my head, but what came out was softer, pleading. Mom, it's not about you, it's about me feeling. Seen, for once. Dad shuffled in from the garage, grease on his hands from tinkering with the truck. Seen. Kiddo, you're seen every day. Breakfast, dinner, the works. His tone was gruff, loving in that dad way, but blind to the chasm. The room thickened, words hanging unspoken. Jake muttered, overdramatic alert, under his breath, but loud enough to slice. I swallowed hard, tears pricking. Is it? Really? Because it feels like I'm the background in my own life. Silence stretched, broken only by the game's distant explosions. Mom reached for me, but I stepped back. Sophia. Forget it. I grabbed an apple from the counter, fleeing upstairs. The door shut with a click that felt final. In bed that night, phone silenced, the resentment simmered into something hotter, anger maybe, or the first stirrings of resolve. They call it dramatic. I call it desperate. Mia's voice echoed from our last call. You're not desperate, Soph. You're delayed. Time to catch up. I opened my laptop, fingers flying over keys. A digital invite, Sophia's unapologetic bash. Theme, joy without apology. Bring your stories, your dances, your weirdest gift. Invites went out to 10, then 15, old college roommates, work buddies, even that quirky aunt who'd always slipped me 20s with a wink. By midnight, RSVPs trickled in, each one a brick in my rebuilding wall. But sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with family faces morphing into crowds that cheered, then faded to empty rooms. The crack in the facade was widening, and I wasn't sure if I'd fall through or finally breathe. The next days blurred into a haze of anticipation and avoidance. Work became my refuge, Amy drilling me on playlist ideas. No Taylor, all Lizzo, empowerment anthems only. Mia FaceTimed from her apartment, boxes of decorations arriving like contraband, streamers in electric blue, a banner screaming happy belated badass. "You're glowing," she said, holding up a piñata shaped like a stressed-out mom. "Scared shitless." "Terrified," I admitted, laughing through the knot in my throat. What if no one shows? Or worse, they do and I still feel empty. "Then we eat the candy and call it therapy." Her realism grounded me, dialogue flowing easy like old times, jabs at Jake's gaming addiction, whispers about that crush I'd nursed in college. But home was a minefield. Dinners grew tense, silences punctuated by pointed glances. Dad cleared his throat one night over meatloaf. "Heard about your shindig. Hope it's fun, but don't burn bridges, Soph." "Bridges," I echoed, fork pausing. "Dad, it's a party, not a declaration of war." He shifted, uncomfortable. "Just, family's family, we stick." Until they don't stick for you, the inner retort burned. Mom chimed in softly. "We're happy for you, really. Just wish you'd let us in on it." The offer dangled, baited with guilt. "You could come," I said, testing. "All of you." Jake barked a laugh from the hall. "Pass, got a gig." Mom's eyes dropped to her plate. "Maybe next time." The rejection stung fresh, but I swallowed it, the slow build of resolve hardening. Next time, there won't be a next time for settling. Saturday loomed, a horizon of possibility laced with dread. I packed an overnight bag. Mia's couch was mine post-bash, slipping out early to avoid the goodbye gauntlet. In the car, rain pattering the roof, I blasted the playlist, Lizzo's voice a war cry. I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Damn right, I thought, merging onto the highway. The facade was cracking wide open now, and whatever poured out, joy, tears, truth, I was ready to own it. Pulling up to Mia's apartment complex felt like crossing into enemy territory, familiar streets, but tonight they hummed with illicit energy. The building was a squat brick thing, fairy lights already twinkling from her balcony like a beacon for the lost. I parked crookedly, heart hammering a rhythm that matched the bass thumping faintly from inside. This is it, no turning back. The bag in my passenger seat held my armor. A red dress I'd bought on impulse last spring, never worn, and a bottle of cheap Prosecco that sloshed like liquid courage. Mia's door flew open before I knocked, her arms engulfing me in a hug that smelled of vanilla and victory. "The queen arrives. Get in here, we've got work to do." Inside, chaos reigned in the best way. Amy balanced on a chair, tapping up the banner with precision curses. My old roommate Lena blasted music from her phone, sorting cupcakes frosted in wild swirls of color. Balloons bobbed against the ceiling, helium whispers of freedom. "Soph!" they chorused, pulling me into the fray. For a moment, the tension eased, replaced by laughter, real belly deep, the kind that stitches wounds. We decorated like conspirators, twisting streamers into crowns, hiding party poppers in couch cushions. "To overdramatic bitches," Amy toasted with a solo cup of spiked punch clinking mine. "Overdramatic and fabulous," I corrected, the words tasting like truth. Inner thoughts flickered. This is what it feels like. To be the center, not the glue. Guests trickled in as dusk bled into night, 15 strong, a motley crew of my hidden world. There was Tom from accounting, awkward but kind, bearing a handmade card with a cartoon me wielding a cake sword. Cousin Ellie, who drove 3 hours just to see her face light up, her hug fierce and fleeting. Even quiet Ben from the coffee shop down the street, who'd always slipped me extra stamps with a shy grin, showed with a six-pack and a story about his dog's birthday hat fiasco. The apartment pulsed with life, music weaving through conversations, laughter cresting like waves. Mia dimmed the lights and we gathered in a loose circle, cupcakes passed hand to hand. "Speech!" someone yelled, Lena, tipsy and triumphant. I stood, red dress hugging curves I'd forgotten I had, glass raised. The micro-tension hummed, eyes on me, expectant, warm. No judgment, no labels. Okay, fine, short and sweet. They called me overdramatic for wanting one damn birthday that felt like mine. Balloons. Cake that didn't come from the clearance aisle. People who showed up because they wanted to, not because blood said they had to. Pauses for chuckles, but my voice cracked on the edge. So here's to that. to wanting more and taking it, even if it scares the shit out of you. Cheers erupted, poppers cracking like gunfire, confetti raining down in a glittering storm. Hugs followed, toasts layered with inside jokes, Amy's to DNA tests and bad bitches. Ellie's whispered, "Proud of you, cuz about time." Ben lingered, his quiet, "You deserve this every day," landing soft but seismic. We danced then, awkward at first, bodies bumping in the cramped space, then fluid, free. Lizzo gave way to old-school Outcast, and I spun with Mia, her laughter in my ear. "Look at you, glow-up central." "It's terrifying," I confessed, breathless. "What if they find out? What if?" "Fuck 'em," she said, fierce. "This is your explosion, let it burn." And it did. Stories spilled like wine. Lena's divorce bash gone viral, Tom's coming-out party in a dive bar. Vulnerability wove us tighter, the night a tapestry of micro-moments. Ben's hand brushing mine during a slow song, tentative. Amy's drunken karaoke that had us all in stitches. No one checked their phone for family texts. No guilt shadowed the joy. But midway through, as I refilled punch, my own phone buzzed in my bag, a family group chat notification, insistent as a mosquito. I ignored it, but curiosity won. "Mom, hope you're having fun. Dad says hi. Don't stay out too late." Then Jake, party looks lit from Insta stories. "Invite next time." Sarcasm dripped, but underneath, something sharper, envy, hurt. The bubble pricked. They see it now. Too late. Inner turmoil swirled, triumph laced with ache. Was this rebellion or just another layer of their dismissal? I shoved the phone away, diving back in. The piñata fell to cheers, candy scattering like escaped wishes. We devoured it on the floor, cross-legged and sticky, trading dreams for the year ahead. "Travel," Amy declared. "Therapy," Lena added. "Mine, boundaries, big ones." Midnight crept in, the energy ebbing into cozy sprawl, couch piles, last drinks. Ben and I ended up on the balcony, city lights smudging the horizon. "Thanks for coming," I said, voice soft against the hum of traffic. "Didn't expect you." He shrugged, beer bottle dangling. "Saw the invite pop up. Figured. Why not? You always seem like you carry the world. Tonight, let it go." His words undid me, tears welling unbidden. "I try, but family, they make it hard." "Not all weight's yours to hold," he murmured, and in that quiet our fingers linked, tentative, electric. A spark, not fireworks, but enough to warm the chill. The night wound down with hugs and promises. "Brunch tomorrow? Text me your playlist." I crashed on Mia's couch, confetti in my hair, body humming with afterglow. But as sleep tugged, the explosion's echo lingered. This was mine. Dramatic, hell yes, and I'd do it again. Morning light filtered through blinds, head pounding from Prosecco and possibility. Mia brewed coffee strong enough to wake the dead, sliding me a mug with a grin. "Last night, legendary. You're trending in my heart, babe." We recapped over toast, highlights, lowlights, Amy's epic fall during Single Ladies. The way the room had felt alive. My phone, though, a minefield. Missed calls from Mom, texts stacking, everything okay? Jake says it looked fun, wish we'd known. Dad's rare voice note. "Proud kiddo, but talk soon." Guilt nod, slow and sly. Did I rub it in, make them feel small? But Mia shut it down over her second cup. "Nah, you lit your own fire. If they want warmth, they step closer." She was right. By noon, I was back home, the house eerily quiet, Dad at work, Jake out, Mom at her volunteer shift. I unpacked quietly, red dress hung like a trophy. But the front door opened mid-afternoon, Mom home early, face drawn. "Sophia," she started, no preamble, setting her purse down like a gauntlet. "We need to talk." The tension reignited, micro and immediate. "About." "The party." Her eyes searched mine, hurt raw. "Jake showed me pics. It looked nice, but excluding us, that was cruel." Cruel, the word ignited the powder keg. "Excluding, Mom, I invited you, twice. You said next time." She faltered, then rallied. "We were busy, family first, right?" "And what about me?" My voice rose, cracking the air. "I'm family too, but I'm always last." Dad walked in then, sensing the storm, Jake trailing like a shadow. The kitchen became a confessional, words tumbling out in a rush, the years of sidelined dreams, the overdramatic jabs that chipped away at my core. I just wanted one night, I finished, tears hot, where I wasn't the afterthought. Silence blanketed us, heavy as fog. Dad cleared his throat. We didn't see it that way, Soph. Jake shifted, uncomfortable. Shit, maybe I was a dick. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for mine. I'm sorry. We got comfortable, you being the strong one. It let us slack. Apologies flowed, halting and real, dialogue laced with I didn't realizes and we'll do betters. Not perfect, but a fracture mending, tentative. Inner relief washed over me, bittersweet. Was the explosion worth the shrapnel? By evening, we'd ordered pizza, a small truce, and talked, really talked. Plans for a family redo next month, boundaries sketched lightly. As I lay in bed that night, the high fatting into reflection, a text from Ben buzzed. Last night was magic. Coffee sometime. The weeks after the bash blurred into a tentative new normal, like the house had exhaled and reshuffled its furniture overnight. Mornings started softer, Mom leaving notes on the fridge. Coffee's hot. Love you. Dad's gruff morning birthday girl lingered even past the calendar flip, a nickname that stuck like glue. Jake? He was trying in his millennial way, dragging me to a concert one Friday, headbanging awkwardly to make up for the eye rolls. You're all right, sis, he'd mutter, bumping my shoulder, and I'd believe him just a little. But the real shift was inside me, a slow, seismic realignment. Workdays, I'd catch myself humming Lizzo in the car, the red dress a staple for client meetings now, armor turned everyday magic. Amy dubbed it my power era, and damn if it didn't fit. Inner thoughts evolved too. Less am I too much? More what else do I deserve? The micro-tension that once knotted my gut loosened into curiosity, a gentle pull toward uncharted wants. Ben and I fell into an easy rhythm, coffee turning to walks, texts peppered with memes and midnight confessions. Our first real date was low-key, picnic in the park, sandwiches from that shop where he'd first smiled at me. So, he said, unpacking grapes, sun dappling his face, that party, you owned it. I laughed, plucking a stem. Felt like jumping off a cliff, but yeah, worth it. He nodded, eyes steady. Takes guts to demand your space. My ex. She called me needy for wanting date nights. Ran the other way. The shared scar tissue bonded us, dialogue flowing real and raw. Needy's just code for human, I said. We deserve nights. Plural. We talked for hours. His dream of opening a bookstore, my itch to launch a freelance side hustle for custom party invites. Ironic, right? No rush, just a slow build, his hand finding mine across the blanket like it belonged. This could be something, the thought whispered, thrilling and terrifying. What if it fit? Home front held too, fragile but forward. One Sunday, Mom cornered me in the garden, trowel in hand, dirt under her nails. Sophia! About the party, I replayed it. You were right, we slacked. Got so used to you holding us up, forgot you needed holding too. Her vulnerability hit like sunlight after rain. It's okay, Mom. I mean, it wasn't, but we're here now. She pulled me into a hug, earth-scented and fierce. Next birthday, we go big, your call. The promise landed light, no pressure, and for once I believed it. Even Jake chipped in later over dinner. Hey, sorry for the overdramatic shit. Was projecting my own crap. Apology accepted, I said, clinking his soda can. But next time, bring the energy. Laughter rippled, the table alive with plans, movie nights, game nights, a family hike that somehow didn't end in bickering. It wasn't perfect. Old habits died hard. Dad still grumbled at fancy ideas, Mom hovered with unsolicited advice. But the air felt clearer, conversations deeper. My dramatic stand hadn't toppled the house, it aired it out. Meanwhile, the bash's ripples spread wider. Amy roped me into planning her sister's engagement party. Your dramatic touch, Soph, make it epic. Invites flew from my laptop, themes blooming, boho vibes, custom sketches. Mia and I started a side gig, unapologetic events, turning overlooked milestones into magic. First client, a quiet 40th for a single mom, balloons and all, watching her light up. Payback in pure joy. Ben wove in seamlessly, helping with mock-ups, his quiet enthusiasm a steady hum. Our second date escalated to stargazing, blanket forts in his backyard. "Tell me something scary," he prompted, fingers tracing constellations on my palm. I hesitated, the old fear flickering. "I'm afraid of settling again." He turned, eyes reflecting starlight. "Then don't, with me or anyone." The kiss that followed was soft, inevitable, a seal on the horizon we'd both glimpsed. Inner glow, this is celebration daily, no candles required. But life being life tossed curveballs. A month in, Jake flunked a class, spiraling into shutdown mode. Old patterns tugged, I wanted to fix to plan his redo. Mom caught me mid-text. "Let him fall, Soph. We learned that the hard way." She was right. I deleted the message, texting Ben instead, boundaries practice, send wine. His reply on it, "Proud of you." The dust settled further with small victories. Dad joining a book club, his pick, thrillers but progress. Mom taking an art class, her watercolors shy but blooming. Family dinner became ritual, not rote, stories swapped, laughs unforced. My 29th had cracked the mold, now we poured ourselves anew. One evening, post-dinner cleanup, Dad pulled me aside. "You know, kid, that party? Jealous a bit. Made me think we owe you more than cake." Tears pricked, but happy ones. We all do, but starting now, perfect. As autumn leaves turned, so did I deeper into Ben's orbit, our dates layering like pages in a favorite book. A weekend getaway to the coast, waves crashing as we walked barefoot. "Marry me," he joked over clam chowder, ring from a gumball machine. "Not yet," I teased back, "but ask again in a year." The poetic twist came quiet on my would-be 30th eve, family gathered, no fanfare forced. Balloons bobbed, Jake's doing, surprisingly, cake triple layer, Mom's bake, Dad's icing. Friends crashed too, Mia, Amy, Ben at my side. Toasts circled. "To Sophia, who taught us dramatics, just another word for alive." I raised my glass, voice steady. "To all of us, late bloomers, boundary setters, and one hell of a comeback." Laughter sealed it, the room a mosaic of my making. Overdramatic. Once a slur, now a badge. The girl who'd begged for one night had claimed a lifetime. Looking back, a year past that fateful bash, it's the echoes that surprise me most. The way a single demand rippled into rhythms I never scripted. 30 hit like a gentle wave, not the tsunami I'd feared. The family party was gloriously messy. Jake's playlist skewed too metal, Mom's cake tilted like the Tower of Pisa, Dad's toast rambling into dad joke territory. But Ben was there, hand in mine, whispering, "Told you you'd own this decade." Friends spilled over from the backyard into the street, laughter carrying on the breeze. No labels hurled, no guilt trips, just presence pure and present. Side hustle bloomed into something real. Unapologetic events booked solid, from quinceañeras to quiet vow renewals. Mia and I quit our day jobs last spring. Office cubicles traded for a shared studio downtown, walls papered in client sketches, a neon sign buzzing "Demand your joy." Amy's the first employee, her energy the spark. Lena handles logistics, her steady hand the anchor. We've got a wait list now, stories from clients who whisper, "I was you overlooked, over it, until this." Ben proposed on a rainy afternoon, 6 months in, not grand, but us. Picnic under an umbrella, ring wrapped in a napkin from our first coffee run. "No drama," he said, kneeling in the mud. "Just forever." I said yes through tears, the kind that wash clean. Our wedding's next summer, small, fierce, with piñatas and playlists. Families all in. Mom's planning flowers, Dad's walking me, truck keys in pocket, just in case, Jake DJing with veto power, thank God. The karma twist, subtle, poetic. Jake, fresh from community college graduation, started therapy, my dramatic stand the nudge he admits over beers. "You made wanting shit okay, Soph, rubbed off." Mom's art class turned hobby to exhibit. Dad's book club birthed a neighborhood watch, thrillers paying off. They celebrate now small but sincerely. My birthday last month, they ambushed me with a weekend at the cabin, no asks required. And me, the girl once caged by Overdramatic, roams free. Mornings with Ben, sketching logos over coffee, evenings tangled in plans that feel like dreams. Inner peace isn't absence of tension. It's the quiet after the storm, knowing I can summon another if needed. They called me overdramatic once. Now, They call me home. And in the echo of that first brave yes, I hear the real celebration, not one night, but every dawn after.